Looks like I need to change that intro video. It's not so nice. Welcome, welcome. It's Romantic Developer and it's Late Night Talk with Romantic Developer. Today we have 212 series of our streams. And as always, we will look on some recent news, discuss any topics arise for us today, and probably look into some code development, but maybe not for a long, because yeah, all the busy days, once I start doing my streams, I have more and more busy life. But at the same time, I couldn't say that I spent all my time effectively. And I try to solve these issues, but I'm still on my path. Of course, I have a huge amount of different things and techniques which I use, which I stop to use to uh, come back to that problem over and over again about my self-efficiency. Of course, in times when when I fly, when I'm so inspired by some dreams that it's the only thing I can think of course, that periods are so simple. You just go and do everything. But when you are not so motivated and because of different reasons, maybe the best thing is to become unmotivated. If you couldn't become, you can try maybe hundreds of different techniques. They could slightly improve your self uh, self success. Yes, in achieving some goals in time you uh, estimate for those. But it's always tricky. I'm doing it all my life, and if that period is not of high motivation, like high energy, it's very hard to gather back somewhere energy. Of course, we talk about how not to lose energy, and those tactics are still valid. Of course, we lose a lot of energy when we spend our attention where it shouldn't be spent. It could be whatever. You could discuss some events which not related to you. You can hate people hating or thinking about other people's lives and how you would do something to make their life worse or differently or whatever. Of course, it's all took a lot of energy. Also, when you feel that you did not something right, of course, and it's very complex because from one side it's good things that you understand that you did wrong, but other thing, if you return to that every day and every moment, and okay, not every day, but even so, we did a lot of things wrong. Yeah, we here to learn, and we are learning creatures, and what the sense has to be here if we couldn't learn, and what has the sense to be here if we couldn't do mistakes. So it's like very natural, but some people take it easy, some people take it very hard, and some people even don't understand, they do some mistakes, everything is fine. I don't know. Yeah, I'm probably could belong to the people, to the group which take all the mistakes in the past really hard. If I have any issues or problems, I think about it too much, and I understand that I clearly waste a lot of energy. And if I stop thinking about it and just start doing something, even if it's not so good and so, I mean, not so good and bad, it's also very, very complex terms in terms what we mean by good or bad. In that case, I mean good, it's maybe not the highest quality, not very well synced, blend, etc. Just start doing something, some, I don't know, some bright ideas. Maybe it wouldn't done with the maximum possible qualities because you do it very quickly and you start basically not fully prepared, but at the same time it can become something very beautiful. Yeah, so of course we need to find all the things which which soak our energy away, and yeah, I would be happy to say there is one reason for that, but no, there is not one reason. There are multiple reasons. But maybe the biggest reason it's when we focus, like LLMs, they have that focus. They focus in on your question, and it's what helps them to answer your questions good. It's what which helps them to train good, and so on. So when your focus, basically, the point where you have a lot of your thoughts. I don't know. Every human have thousands of thoughts every day, or maybe hundreds of thoughts every hour. So it's really hard, and you couldn't probably control all of them. It's very naive to think that okay, there would be a day and I will control my thoughts. No, you wouldn't. But some thoughts you should let them go, and what you can control, you can say, okay, this episode, I admit I did something not right. For example, if you really think about it, or if you didn't done something and you lose and say, okay, I admit that. I admit it was my learning, and if I could do something to change that, if I can go call some person and make an apology for something, if I could write a lesson, or I can maybe send some money or whatever. So whatever you think will try to solve that situation now, not then, not in future, now. If you have that thing, do it. If you don't have right now, but you know what to do, plan it, and stop thinking about it. Stop distract yourself from what you need to do, what is your plan. And we talk a lot about how to build beautiful plans, how to use some tools which help us not to distract on multiple things, like this beautiful Pomodoro Cube timer. I love it. I use it sometimes. So like you just say, okay, it would be 10 minutes. You put it like that, you see 10 on top, and it start counting. Okay, it start counting. But of course, 10 minutes in that case, it would be an relaxed time. Normally, yeah, if you just put it like that, it will stop. But normally you will choose like 25 minute. It start, by the way, 25 minute. And then once 25 minute is over, you can make 5-minute delay. It take 5-minute delay, and then it say or sound or vibration, say, hey, I'm here. You, your relax time is over. Also, you could choose 50-10, like 50 minutes and 10 relax. I normally choose 25-5. It's better for me, like half an hour. It's a very short period of time, but you can plan very granularly what you need to do. And sometimes I even can live with it, but in many times you just see it and, oh, I need to do that, and you do it very inefficiently. Hopefully you will find your efficiency. Hopefully you can forgive yourself for everything you did wrong. Hopefully you can admit that a lot of things were lessons, and they're very good lessons for your soul, heart, mind. You call it what you believe, but anyway, it would be a lesson. There are some things which for many religions, for many people, of many skins, of many, I don't know, genders, it's all the same. Our willingness to be happy, our dream to live like very cozy, uh, normal life where we could, yeah, make good things to our loved ones, live in the state where we don't afraid, I don't know, some bombs from the sky, where we have what to eat, where we have where to live, where we can build somehow cozy atmosphere, and in best case, where we can do what we like. And mostly any person can do that, even if it's not your work. Probably you can do some hobbies, whatever. I started the channel, and actually many times I like to join the streams and to talk about it. Even it was not always, sometimes I'm so, oh no, I don't want to do that. It's so hard. Maybe I'll skip today, but I say, okay, no skipping, no skipping. At least few things in your life should happen every day. Okay, every day you go to bed, every day you uh, yeah, do some basic stuff like brush your teeth, I don't know, taking shower. Every day you try to do at least few exercises, like maybe some push-ups or something, just to not die from sitting somewhere. Um, and in my case, I also do like few other things. I do streams every day. I do Duolingo every day, and of course, yeah, something maybe I like to do less, like my phone. Sometimes I think, okay, it's really I need some detox time from my phone, but it's also I take in my phone every day. Nicely that at least I don't play on my phone every day, and not I watch all that stupid, continuous, and unended videos, especially shorts every day. They're only sometime, and sometime I'm yeah. So it's it's some waste of time when you understand that maybe it's not as bad as playing games, but really it's I'm not sure what is worse. But it's what I see in people. I see how my kids doing, and of course, it's not something you can say. Please don't do that. They should come to that solution themselves. And yeah, when they are doing something they love, and they just yeah dive deep into doing that, of course, they probably will start doing something unneeded much less. So it was some lyric di- lyric digestion. No. I forgot that word. I forgot that word. Let me let me remember that. Oh, lyrical digression. Digression. It was a lyrical digression, guys. It was a lyrical digression. Let's look into some AI news. Okay, let's try to come here and I can switch my screen like this. Okay, and let me do that thing. Okay, now I can. Oh, it's my timer, by the way. You see, it does that sound. I put it in vibration mode. So just because I put it not on its back when it just hold the last value and go to sleep after 5 minutes, it start counting, and it's counted about 10 minutes probably, and provide us some signal. So let's see what are the great news we probably can missed today. I'll probably use Audrey Mini with search. Okay, it was my previous language, Ukrainian. Please do research of all possible of all recent AI news. Please use valid resources for that, like Google News, OpenAI News, and so on, from how to say solid news resources. Please choose the most important news in the recent days. in area, maybe field of artificial intelligence and LLM, maybe generative models. AGI, of course. So recent days mean news on or after February. So what we'll say, today is 12 already. Let me say 11. Provide short but deep summaries and links to the sources. So let's see, probably we need to wait about a minute so that O3 Mini can do that research for us and gather some news. But then we can discuss them and see what else we can do. Oh, I forgot to start my chatbot. I need to run command line prompt. And I need to go to my projects, Romantic, YouTube, and execute stream. And in that case, it will start a new Windows on that screen. So one window is for chatbot and another window for Whisper, local Whisper. So let's check if it's working, if I can hear any messages, because I run that bot not only to help me with some visitors, if any.
Hello.
Okay. I need to work that it read it really to the end, because right now when I send that generated speech, it's sometimes like cut the last maybe 0.5 seconds. So if it's something long, I can hear it. If it's something less long, hello in oh, let's see if it will support some Marvin voice or something. So messages for streamer response? No, that's why it didn't. Interesting. I ask it now. I'm just testing it. So I now send in a message. Probably we could see it here. So hello here, dear streamer.
Hello here, humanity and the streamer, in a Marvin voice from Hitchhiker's Guide on
Universe. Okay. It decided to read everything like we said. So it didn't done a huge difference in voice sounding. But when we create some parameters for the voice before, when we did it for, okay, even that should work. Where's the chat? Okay, live chat. Open chat. It should be opened. Let's reload the page. But when we hello chatbot, please open panel. Okay, maybe it's still loading it. How it's possible to show my chat here if it's not visible? Okay. Okay. Looks like okay, now it's coming. So maybe some issues. So I try to do in a Marvin voice from Hitchhiker Guide at Universe, and it's sounded more like Echo, not like Marvin, because Marvin, it's always citing and talking with some irony in its voice, etc. So of course it wasn't Marvin. But when we test other bot with which use real-time audio conversation, yeah, it's did it pretty cool. But we not using here it right now. We just use like standard chatbot. It's simple. It's not pricey, by the way, so it will do us good. And another cool thing, actually, on multiple projects, I already close to $100 spending on my OpenAI account from all the time. I'm using it for many years, and now I hit $100, so it's mean I'll go to the tire when I can use O3 through AI, and probably it would be a good time to test my uh, program, my YouTube AI helper with O3 mini model. It, by the way, not pricey at all. O3 mini is not pricey through API, so it's pretty cool. Okay, we are here. So let's go and switch back to the news. Again, it said it thought for a second. Of course, it's not a second. Maybe after it did research, it may be a second, but before it think maybe for minutes, 1 or 2 minutes. OpenAI new deep research agent and AGI moment overview. OpenAI Sam Altman revealed in recent exclusive interviews that their newly launched AI agent Double Deep Research has already begun handling about 5% of economic tasks. This agent is capable of complex research functions from financial analysis to product comparison, effectively reducing the need for high-paid consultancy work. Altman describes the launch as a pivotal moment, suggesting that many users experience what he called an AGI moment by witnessing the system performing tasks traditionally reserved for expert humans. Comparable to the International Atomic Energy Agency to ensure safe and equitable AI deployment as the system increasingly take on economically valuable work. Okay, times, February 11. Okay, GD Vance rebook an excessive AI regulation at the Paris summit. Let me try to, I don't know, go somewhere and ask to define. Oh, I forgot, and now it's handled by ChatGPT. I enable ChatGPT search in that browser. So verb means express sharp disapproval or criticism of someone due to their actions or behavior. For example, the manager rebukes the employee for repeated tardiness, which comes from Anglo-French rebuker, meaning to beat back. This in turn is divided from Old French rebutcher, combining is reback with butcher to strike or chop. Butcher from boys. Okay. So it's we probably already seen that it was a summit in Paris, and of course DJ G Day or DG. For some reason, I call him DJ. DJ. Vance delivered a forceful message warning against imposing overly strict AI regulation. Of course, because who will Chin? Who will? I'm sorry, who will China? Who will win? People who don't pose those regulation will win in the upcoming era of AI. In his remark, he argued that such excessive regulation, yes, European Union like it, excessive regulations on everything, except common sense, of course, risks stifling innovation and slowing down the economist and technological momentum that AI already creating. Emphasize that the United States strategy favors and handoff approach to allow rapid development, marketing, integration of AI tools. Okay, I agree with him. US urged its allies to adopt a light touch approach to AI oversight. To Paris summit, okay. Stance Vance warned that US partners impose stringent controls, they risk losing ground in the global AI race. Okay, it's basically the same news. Or you allow AI development or you disallow. If you disallow, you will be third party countries. If you allow, you will try to win a competition with countries who invest a lot into AI. And again, as we spoke before, deep seek model just reveals that actually the race is just started. Okay, shift from safety to opportunity. Really, is any new model, any new models announced, any price cut, any free to use models or new developments in AI recently? I like to read about Paris Summit, of course, but let's see if there is something more closer to us, because Paris is far away. Maybe not for everyone. Maybe you hear me from Paris. I'm sorry. I know that, you know, Paris is a very old city with very long history, and it's city of romantic people. So because I'm a romantic developer, I can say that I liked that city, and I never been to Paris in my life. Maybe during the flight I maybe can change the fly on Charles de Gaulle airport, but I'm not so sure. But I see some analogies with Kiev, which also very old city. It's like more than 1,500 years history just for that city, and it was so beautiful. It has some, it's unique features, and then came people with big money and decided to broke it. They decided to build skyscrapers. Yeah, probably that word, skyscrapers. They built a lot. They're making money. And now, city is not feeling like before, doesn't feel like before. I know some cities try to preserve some historical centers. For example, I've been to Washington, D.C., and they have like more modern, like um, more modern places like Arlington, but the same like historical part where is Congress and White House. It's still preserved in some in old style, in pretty cool style, and I like that. And also I see the same thing in some other cities, and I'm totally understand. For example, New York, it's history of skyscrapers, and Manhattan, of course. But cities like Paris, they should remain, it should be something to remain, which which like years and ages will not change. And looks like it changed. At least I couldn't talk to my by myself, but I talked to people who visited Paris before and recently, and they said that the city loses its atmosphere, mostly because of some immigration problems, because of some dirt and other things, uh, because of safety, so on, so on. So now people, to spend some very romantic moments, they choose look somewhere else. So yeah, probably I'll visit it if I can sometime, but yeah, it wouldn't be my first priority. But yeah, everything could be changed, and hopefully everything come back to normal and people start um, values which they value for ages, and they continue to do that. So Google Gemini 2.0. Google, it was exposed, by the way, a week ago. Gemini 2, flashlight, a highly cost-effective model, is now a public preview. Enhanced coding, reasoning capabilities. This model available via Google AI Studio and Vertex AI, and designed to provide high performance at lower cost. OpenAI 3 Mini, we know about it. Price cuts. Alibaba aggressive price reductions. So it's happened when? It happened last year. So they have Qwen Max, which pretty cool. It's multimodal, multi-input model and multi-output model. It could generate not only text, it could generate images, even videos, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, they cut their prices, but of course, using their API can end not so nicely if in another round of United States China war they just prohibit it on some proxy level, not on proxy, on some national level, and you need to use some proxies or VPNs to be able to access that APIs. Of course, it wouldn't be as nice. Okay, and DeepSeek cost efficient approach, it's also pretty, so it's added into Wikipedia right now, but of course it's it cost like twice as cheaper as O3 Mini, but when it's released, it cost like 25 times cheaper than O1. It was really, yeah, game-changing event. Open source model from Mistral AI and IBM. So they released, interesting. It just recent edits and it's pretty long ago. But for Mistral 7B variants under open license, allowing developers to use and modify them freely. Granite series now includes open source code models released under a patch that available on platforms like Hugging Face. Okay, and academic works in summary. Okay, so let's okay, let me start my Visual Studio Code here, but I'll switch to another project. Do you have anything to add? No, I haven't done anything new recently. And I open recent project for video creators API helper. Okay, we try to do all of those. And we want to see, can we run it locally? So if you will, let's execute command prompt. I like it more. Redis server is not recognized. But what if we do like we done before, Docker server up and not DB? Oh, DB, okay. Let's try to execute it and maybe it would be it for today. Docker desktop. We need to execute. Oh, no. Docker desktop. Okay. Where are you, Docker desktop? Okay. So let's start our DB, local DB. It's okay. It's still not started. Docker engine is still, yeah, offline. Okay. Docker compose up DB. Probably we need to run another terminal for something else. It would be Docker up, and in compose we have Redis. So let's start Redis in Docker. Of course, first time it will pull Redis image latest, and it will download in like 44 megabytes of data. I like how they did download here in command line prompt. Pretty impressive. Okay, database is up. Let's start Redis. And then we need to start a worker. So Redis is up. Can we now start our worker? Celery. No model name Celery worker. Maybe we need say app Celery worker. Oh, no. It's looking for model name. Let's ask. I don't ever work with Celery. So we can go. Hi, I am trying to start Celery worker locally. I've already started Redis in Docker. When I execute, let's see what it will say. Maybe we need to do Docker compose build. Let's try do that. So 3 or 4 already built it, and Celery should be built it, but it will not help us to execute it locally, correct? Okay, let's see what is the answer to our problem. Check a project structure and model names. This means that name you pass to A must match exactly the model or package path from your current working directory. For example, if your project structured like this, yes, then Celery app is defined in app Celery worker inside the package called app, because the init in that case we should run app Celery worker log. So we will start another terminal. It would be command prompt. And let's see. Video creator AI helper app Celery worker. Oh, really? Redis, task, child. So we can start it locally, but now I can start it locally, but it doesn't see Redis in Docker. I think we could terminate. And we can start another command prompt. What about our Docker? Okay, we're still building something. Redis. Change the broker URL for local testing in your input Redis localhost. Let's do the change. And it would be our Celery worker and Redis host. No. Let's do like this. Redis host, and it would be localhost. And that we just comment. Okay. Set Redis URL. Okay. Run Celery working inside Docker. Verifying network. Okay, that thing we will leave. Let's see if we can execute now. Start the Celery worker again. It would be like this. Celery A app Celery app worker log level info. Let's start. Nice. Looks like we were able to connect locally from Celery to Redis. Now we need to run our main website. Let's Docker DB. Run a Celery worker locally. Will it help me? And what we have here, Not exactly. Celery worker, Celery app worker, look level info. Okay, that is cool. Run a Redis Docker container. I believe it just Redis will work. Okay, and let's see if we can run our web application now and see if it will work. No model name tasks. Okay, let's see. So the issue happened in main. Okay, in input files. From tasks. And of course it would be in app task. Okay, download video. And if we use input file for create, undefined variable, URL, we just need to provide YouTube URL. Okay, it says that reloading, we saved 2 times, and now we're able to connect. Nice. And I believe we have that sync somewhere here. So a lot of input files already. Let's see. Yeah, dashboard recognize me. We can see all the input file. We can add new input file, and we can add any link here. We can now submit. Okay, it processed input file. Let's see on the Celery. So input file, select, it select top one, select, get. But we sent an input file, correct? And let's see our Celery worker here. Redis localhost. Okay, we were able to connect to that worker, and we register task download video, queue downloads, optional queue, task download video, Celery app, task. Okay. Where we put in that file, looking in uploads. So what we can do, maybe we can stop this unicorn and try to debug. That's why we executed everything on my local machine. Let's just open new terminal, and here in input files, or maybe in main py, if we say debug and run, we have by default on the first API here. So it's executing first API. And now we can go to our input file, downloader, task. Let's click breakpoint here, and it should be good. Click add new file. Okay, now we started. YouTube link. For YouTube link, we need to provide something like YouTube file, submit. And let's see what we have. We have input file as input method YouTube URL. We have it. Remote file, everything else is not provided. So input method is YouTube and YouTube URL is set. We click F10, try task, download video, delay YouTube URL, and we click F11, and task is task ID something, task submitted. F10, and that's it. We returned somewhere to the main page. It's our submitted task. And Celery, keep it silence. Keep it silence. So for Celery, it could be two things. Celery worker, app config task routes, task download, video downloads. Remote attach, node. Really? I'll send in, of course, but slightly later. Let me once again. How we can attach once again? Add configuration. Install additional. Okay, it's not the same. Attach to running container. Attach shell containers. No. Interesting. So anyway, let's try to go to tasks here. All alone. And if we just add another YouTube link, will it work? Get current user. Continue. Task. Execute. And Celery. Not sure if it's main thread. Python debug subprocess. Let's ask. Let's say here. Looks like I was able to start everything locally. DB and Redis in Docker. Celery and web locally. I can connect the debug session to web and see what's going on. How I can connect to Celery. Process looks like task download not called in Celery. At least no logs are populated and no visible actions are done. Let's see if it need any input from me. So here it is. Run in solo mode for easier debugging. Celery pull solo. This make it's harder to attach to the bear. Simplify debugging, run worker in the solo. Okay. Maybe, maybe let's even just describe it in our README file so we can later easily support all of those. And let's copy. Let's go here. Yeah, is that it? Okay. Let's execute Celery from here. Solo. Next step. If you prefer not to change the pool, ManyID attach you to remote debugger in the Celery process. For example, in VS Code, you might add debugging configuration using a debug py at the start of your task functions. You can attach your VS Code debugger to port. It's best for development only. Ensure the task is discovered. Imports, app config imports, add login, of course. The task is being enqueued. Trigger download, task submitted. Okay, summary. Maybe, maybe just add to the worker the task and we can really set starting download for URL. And let's execute it once again, just up the latest changes. So let's try add another file. I don't know which time, but we will clean then, submit. error occurred because we stop our debugger. Let's go once again and restart our web as standalone. Doo-doo. Yeah, we haven't opened Celery any remote port here. It's Redis, but Celery is starting somewhere. Okay, we will not use it as of now, but we try to insert some link and click submit. Okay, we receive new link. And it says Celery ready. And I don't see any traction. And I don't see anything here. Also, it said that we need to make sure that it's supported. Let's ask. My Celery worker is looking like does task download video is properly connected. Because we can enqueue the task for sure. Delay URL because we received task ID. Task download video. Okay, okay. However, if your task is part of a package, for example, app task with an init py present, and do we have init py in app? Yes. So we need to say not task, but app task download video. Celery app config task routes. You can verify it. Download video. App task download video. And in tasks, we have Celery worker. Not that just says app Celery worker as Celery worker task. Okay, and we execute it in input files. We define it as app task download video. Yeah, that looks fine. So for Celery, we try to restart it and see what's going on. So let's just try once again. If it will not work, we'll try to see. So once again, some YouTube link, submit, and here we have that submitting. Salary empty. Okay. We can say my latest code is salary output Did I miss anything in configuration? Why I don't see my task executed, but it definitely created as I see task ID is populated. Okay, let's see the power of reasoning of that model now. So it's some of the things we need to resolve till we can until we can do actual coding. We have already implemented most of the tasks we need, like download, convert video to audio. We know how to execute the prompts. We know how to execute whisper transcriptions and so on, so on. So once we can fix that, I believe it would be not so long until we can execute all of those. And of course, we need slightly enrich our DB structure to hold all the results of all the tasks and update main input file, maybe with some additional results or something. So with some log. But once everything is working locally, we can develop it and partially test it in Azure. Task, however, in your model is inside a package, for example, amp followed with init py file. Its default name becomes like something. This mismatch would mean that even if you enqueue a task, that worker won't find it because the route key in your configuration. Okay, what to do? Explicitly set the task name in your task definition in taskpy. Decorate your function with an explicit name that matches your routing configuration. For example, in taskpy, let's see my taskpy. Oh, I don't define the lawyer. Okay, and it would be Celery app define task download video. Oh, come on, what's going on? Is it end? No, no, no. Please, my okay. So I need to switch here to the output and copy that. And then I need to go to my taskpy. Please, my computer, allow me to finish that fixes. Okay. again, long running task. So starting, downloads, exist, random. It still wants some random. Okay. Maybe executing all the code online wasn't a good idea, but I see that CPU actually everywhere is very low. Maybe in Python, Whisper running, it's taking some time, but yeah. Okay, we need to do something with Python. So let me scroll up. Please allow me to do that. Okay, that should work. Task. Tam pam pam pam. My mouse. So my computer is not hot. Is it just CPU or GPU? What's going on? It's auto. GPU 0. CPU, yeah, there are some load for CPU. And 92 doesn't sound like very huge. Now it's 60. Okay. In Celery worker. Okay. 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 Let's go to the code and go to Celery worker. Maybe we forgot imports, conf imports. Okay, that is fine. What else? Verify the task is set. Enqueue task with ID. Print. Input file. Print. Enqueue task with ID, task ID. Do we have something to print to? No login, no nothing. Okay. So now we can go to Celery and try to stop it. Celery, please stop. And please start once again. So if you go now, download task, download video is executing. Summary, okay. So we restarted the Celery. So probably if you just select something and click submit, let's see what unicorn show to us. Get, post, begin, select one user, cache info, select input files from where, select generated rollback. I don't see anything. Anything is in unicorn as well. Let's maybe just stop it and also restart it. So application startup complete. Add new input file. It says in 4 get input new. Okay. So it was post in form. Select top one user. Okay. Select top one. Okay. Engine. Cache. Select input files from input files by user ID. Select input files user ID. To here we do redirect and then we just load those files once again. Okay, we didn't see print task is created or something. And Celery for sure also is no traction. I still don't like that task event is disabled. What if I just worker and say E? Will it help? So task events on, solo, exchange task, task download video. Why it has space between tasks? Let me see very quickly if we have any space. Task, name, task download video. Okay, URL. Overwrite. What's now? Okay, looks good. Maybe it's because of it. Let's restart once again. Maybe just because our code was never compiled, yes. Queues. Celery exchange, Celery direct, key, Celery, queues. But in our case, queues is not Celery, but also downloads. All the tables, pam, startup, begin, info, select, insert into input files, engine, commit, info, files ID, select input files, engine, info generated, users. So let's go here once again. Let's add that logger the same way as we did before. Probably we need just set import login. Alright. And here instead of print, we just need to say logger info. Maybe let's just edit something like that. Oh, status. Okay. So at least we see that from, yeah, Celery doesn't have anything. Warning, exchange Celery key, Celery. That we completed our startup. Let's just test the last file. Okay, enqueue task with ID here, pending. Nice, at least we can see the task. Now it's enqueued. Tasks. Okay. Celery worker. Queue downloads. What if you just change it to Celery? Task download video, task routes, import Celery, app config imports. Okay. This is my Celery worker. Does it looks good? I can and queue the task and get task ID, but Celery never picking it up. Okay, just warnings. It just warnings. Ready. We are ready. You are setting task download video. You task without an explicit register it. Okay. How to fix? It's what we already done. Update route key to match the default name. Additional considerations. My task file looks like. Is it? Could it be connection to Redis? Proper view issue. How to see what's in Redis in queues. So Redis. Let's see. We don't have Redis CLI. Pip install Redis CLI. A list of the keys. Inspect the queues. Using Celery inspect command. Inspect active. Let you see what tasks are active. Reserve the schedule. For example, run it from your project root. You can run inspect reserved. So let's see. Of course, it will show me no active task. Log level. Maybe if I set debug. Too much. Inspect active. No such option. E. Celery inspect. Active should be hot. And what else? Reserved. It says no node replied within the time constraint. Using the flowers for real-time monitoring. Let's do as well. So here pip install Redis. Redis CLI. It should be working now. Maybe we need to execute once again. Redis CLI. Redis CLI not recognized. Oh, really? What about Flower? What about Flower? Flower is installed. And now we can use something like that. Visit me. Okay. Inspect method active. Fail it, fail it, fail it, fail it. Register it, fail it. Connecting to Redis. And local Redis kind of working. Maybe it's all the problem with Redis. Celery, accumulate, map, task, download video. Task download video is good. So maybe a local host. Okay. We have tasks, brokers, documentation, no workers. And now if you go here and add new input task and say something, oh, it's validate for the URL actually. Cool. So 8:18. It still show no task, no workers. Installed Redis CLI with pip install, but I couldn't find it in CMD after it. Also, I've installed Flower, but it shows something like this in console when I called Celery. Does it shows on any problems with setup? Okay, that should be helpful. Docker exec. Let's try to do Docker exec. Redis CLI. Nice. And we can choose case 1, Celery downloads. Celery 01, body. So looks like we have some task in Redis, in downloads, and in surely in Celery as well. Downloads. Yeah. So we see that YouTube, and we see multiple YouTubes here. Basic setup is working. Flower is connected in Redis, and it's list your registered task including the warnings such as are not necessarily a problem. No active tasks. Solo poll can limit development environment. Might not return. What to do next? A QA task. Check worker logs. Use a different worker pool optional. So we don't see any task here. We don't see no task, no workers, no brokers. Oh, we see Celery and one message. In Flower interface, there are empty workers and task tabs, and broker tab shows salary queue with one message, but it looks it got never executed. Okay, where is our salary? No execution, nothing. Redis is starting. Oh, Redis, by the way, itself ready to accept. Saving, background saving started. So it just executed, that's it. And the same thing with SQL. Machine, okay. Okay, what's in this? What in the response? Even shows that your task is registered as task in that message. Okay. By default, salary work can listen to a salary queue. Also to task roadmap to the queue salary, it can help to be explicit. Start your worker with queue salary option to force it listen to that queue. So if you go here where we have salary, in that case, it will be not in Flower, correct? Oh, app downloads. And what's different from other executions? So maybe it's try to connect. Okay, it makes sense. File not found. The system cannot find the path specified in line. App downloads. Maybe we can use something like uploads. Okay, makes sense. So we did a mistake, but we can never see the log while we're not specifying queue salary. Okay, now it's listening. Now it's listening. The same command. Okay. Okay. Okay, review working logs. Okay, summary. Flower will not work anymore, correct? Yes, because we're not using Flowery. And if we add new YouTube in Celery. Oh, starting download 4. Nice. Okay. Looks like with so many issues at the end, we were able to start receive some results. Yes. Okay, probably we will stop it We don't need stop. Okay, everything shut down and it's good. It's good. Do we have exit? Okay. Okay. So now we need to make sure that that task is really looks better and think if we can use our database from inside Celery, so we can enqueue task, not like download video, but process state and get the current state from task and do all those things, but it would be a very universal task. So we know what to expect, and for every task we can execute it multiple times and it will never do any bad, because if it's already downloaded, we can not download it again. If it's already transcribed, we will not transcribe it again, and so on, unless we specify very specifically that we want to execute some specific task on that input file. Yeah, we'll think, but at least so I believe now if we want, we could here execute something like Celery app worker and say flower and say log level. So let's copy that. And preserve and test with that starting the next stream. So registered tasks. Those inspects are failed. It's fine. And let's see, flower will work. Okay. We have no task. One message in broker. And if for some reason we decided now to go and create some input file, by the way, it's currently downloading two huge files. So we see that workers task broker, two messages in broker, no task, no workers. Broker. Flower. And we specified queue Celery. Okay. So we have two messages in queue, but we don't want to process them. Okay, not everything works from the first try, as always. So let's stop that thing. I thought that if I just replace worker by flower, it will do the things. So worker will pick up that thing. Maybe if I'll do flower, I still could see that from here. I see. So broker, Celery, workers, one worker is online status, and unknown worker, Celery Daima. Okay. But it's processing the message which is active. State pending. State active. active. Yeah. So it's processing that. And we still have one message in broker. Okay. At least now it's become more understandable how we can review that. So one task is downloading it, some YouTube video, and we can see how it's working here. But of course, clicking here doesn't provide any unknown worker. Okay. Okay, it's interrupted. And now if you will see workers, it's offline task. It's success where it was before. And we can even see that how many times we see what is the result. And brokers still have 2 tasks. I don't like the state success, but we can look into that later. Okay, at least we have some understanding what's going on with that queue now and how to enqueue the tasks. So yeah, some results. Okay. I think that it. Let me switch back to my main camera. Yeah, it's about 2 hours stream. Yeah, I decided to make it shorter today, but as you saw, I just keep trying to fix the things. At least I get something working, and it's make me more happy than I was before, of course. And again, it's not something about AI, unless we just use ChatGPT to help us. And you see, it was pretty cool. The only thing, of course, it didn't explain all possible issues. For example, we have just some code issue, and even we have some formatters and other things. No one mentioned that. Okay, that so of course formatters will not get the error about we trying to get folder which doesn't exist. But come on, why we didn't see that error anywhere? Not in Celery log anywhere. I still don't know. I mean, I think that in some tools it would be much more simpler to see. And again, we executed everything with lower level debug, so it's probably should be seen. It should be seen on any log level below the error, and debug should really below the error or higher. How you will count, but yeah. Okay. At the end, I just want to return to the stream beginning and wish you to find your purpose and thing which makes you motivated. And when are you not so motivated and you like lose some focus, just relax. Try to switch off all the programs which soak in your energy, and try to think, try to see where your thoughts go, just like as a spectator, not like from distance, where what I'm thinking about. And then you can say yourself, okay, thank you, my brain computer. Let's stop thinking about it at this moment. I accept that I did something good or not good, and I'm really sorry for that. Now I just ask you not to think about that, and let's just think about some fun engagement things which help us feel motivated and happy. Yeah, some self-programming. Hopefully it will help. I really wish. Okay, guys, as always, see you later or whenever you are ready on this channel. And yeah, have a great day.